doing the test early today. For those of you tuning in for the first time, you can just fast forward to the disclaimers and get ready for a real show. I am Money Mark Ohms, a multi-decade, multi-million, retired Wall Street consultant. Used to sell my research to guys like George Soros, Jim Cramer. They paid me for my picks. Retired in 2009 at the age of 38 and have been giving my research away for free. That's my way of giving back to society. The only way I make money from now until the end of time is through my capital gains. So I do this for free. There's no subscriptions, no advertising, no nothing. Google does give me whatever, I don't know if it's $20 a week or whatever. That money gets donated or put towards other research. I don't want that money myself, but they're going to either keep it or give it to me, so I'm not going to give it to them. That's how it goes with that. So you guys that are joining in, you veterans, you know what it is. Get people in on the live. We're going to get started in just a few moments. Excuse the background. We are from Madrid. We're coming in live from Madrid today, Spain. That's right. You know, what else am I going to do in life? Travel the world. That's what multimillionaires do. Okay, so bear with me as far as the I mean, this is a really nasty background. If you're tuning in for the first time, you might have already tuned out. But if you haven't, stay tuned because we got big stuff on today's show. Just waiting for people to come on to the live. We're almost there. So you guys, please, the only thing I ask is to help spread the word that there's someone here giving you what CNBC won't give you. They just want your eyeballs. They just want you for advertising revenue. They just fill your mind with here's a bull, here's a bear, here's a bull. So you're confused and watch the show all day so they get advertising revenue. Colleges, they don't know what they're doing, right? Would a college professor be teaching you about stocks if they were a multimillionaire, successful stock analyst? Mine wasn't. My professor in college for Stock 101 drove like a Toyota Corolla. So there you have it, right? So invite sent, Daryl, thank you very much. Kevin, Progressive, Lucas, Ron, you know, the 10,000 people out there that follow what I do, even though it doesn't always look pretty, my thanks. Just waiting for those numbers to come up so we can get started. I mean, it's only 2:02. Got the thing started a little bit early today. But you know what? I'm not going to wait any further. I got my family waiting. We're on vacation here. Hey, it's Friday. It's Money Mark. It's Stock Talk Live. We got a really big show this week. I mean, how much more of a run could we be on, y'all? How much of a run could we possibly be on? The CEO interviews I've been doing, the way that I've shifted the way things go here has been paying off major dividends this year with the moves that we've made. What did we get? Let me see here. Air, CEO interview, big move in the stock. ALAR, CEO interview, big move in the stock. Crescendo, CXDO, big move in the stock. EVLV, insider buying this week, big move in the stock. And now TSSI taking off on the big earnings announcement that came out, and a lot of people don't understand at all what they announced. Okay, you look at the press release and look like, well, revenue's down. This doesn't look like it. Okay, they put up 6 cents of earnings. Who cares? Yeah, that's what we wanted them to think, and that's what they thought at the open right after those earnings announcements were made, because I'll tell you this, I wasn't going to wait to see how the stock would react. I was buying on the open heavily. Okay, that was me. Maybe others, but that was me buying, like backing up the truck on the stock right on the open after that earnings announcement. Then the stock pulled back. I don't know if it was traders or people didn't understand what went on in the earnings call, or they weren't on the earnings call. I bought more. Told people in my elite WhatsApp room, my biggest contributors, people that contribute research, spread the word the best, things like that. You can be one of them too. Get in my WhatsApp rooms, right? And let them know that I was backing up the truck and the research was going to show for itself for everybody else once they see. And what happened? Boom. Okay? Boom. When stocks pull back, when great companies pull back, when there's nothing wrong with the company, when everything's going according to plan, and you get a pullback like that, you get in. And so once again, after AEHR did it, Alarm did it, Crescendo did it, Evolve did it, and now TSSI with this big pullback alongside the other AI names came all the way roaring back. That's a 75% gain for the people who made that move. But guess what? That only gets us back to where we were before the earnings announcement. So we're going to talk about that in depth, as well as everything I got out of the CEO and a preview of what we're going to get, because I'm going to have more CEO interviews with TSSI coming up. I am not even done researching this name as it rockets towards a breakout here that could take the stock up $6-7 a share. Wouldn't be unjustified. Geo Investing came out with their proclamation after analyzing the quarter, and they think that the company is going to be on $1 EPS run rate. Now, if you are putting up AI data centers and you're generating $1 of EPS, what PE ratio do you put on that? Hint, hint, not 3. Okay? So we're going to get into all that. But first, the following is not a solicitation to buy, sell, or otherwise transact any stocks or dividends, nor should be construed an endorsement of any particular investment opinion of current stocks or current. I don't even want to read this stuff. Look, you got to read this stuff, okay? I don't encourage you to recommend, recommend anyone to follow my lead on any investment style or instrument that might enter, exit, or reverse a position at any time without notice, advance, or otherwise, regardless of the facts, perceived implications of this content. I am not a registered financial advisor, and suffice it to say, if you're watching this show, this is just a clown show. I do whatever I want with my stocks at any given time. I do day trade my stocks, so don't take anything I say with anything but a grain of salt, because this content is for informational, educational, and most of all, entertainment purposes only. How about that? For covering my you-know-what. Now we can get into talking about this stuff, now that you know that everything that I'm saying is meaningless. How about that? Okay. Well, before we talk about TSSI, and you saw the title of this week's live, Elon Musk loves TSSI. We're going to talk about that and why, right? But let's go through the normal weekly routine as quickly as possible. Here's how you find me on Twitter, at pipelinedatallc.com, or not .com. You see it there, whatever. It's late here. It's Friday. I'm trying to get through this. Here's the rules. If anything I say on this broadcast doesn't make sense to you, I talk about the 10-point rule, 3-point rule, risk-reward charts and stuff. If you don't understand what I'm saying, read this article. These are the rules to following my stuff and getting rich on my work. For those who don't know, if you weren't on the beginning of this broadcast, I am a multimillionaire, retired at age 38, Wall Street consultant, who provided picks to Wall Street during the internet bubble. I've been providing picks during the AI bubble. I've been a technology analyst all my life. Got paid by Jim Cramer, George Soros for my picks. Okay, so there you go. Now I live in a penthouse in Miami Beach next to billionaires whose names you know. After coming up as somebody who I lived in a basement, not a basement apartment, a basement making paying $143 in rent per month. A basement, $143 a month to a penthouse in Miami Beach. That's what you're getting here, okay? And these are the rules. Read the rules. If you don't read the rules, I don't think you have a chance of getting what I got. All right, that's my little advertisement. That's my speech for the day. Y'all used to me giving you a sermon, not giving a long sermon today. That's it. This is my website. You can pause this later, see what the address is, okay, or not. Look up this article, 19 triples in 5 years with Seeking Alpha, plus the other 5 that I mentioned in this article went on to triple as well, 100% hit rate on this. I'm not 100% hit rate all the time, but this article will tell you what I'm all about. Let's go. This is the CNN Fear Greed Index, okay? We are now sitting at still fear. but up at 35 now off of these lows. Remember when we were at 17? Remember when we just came off the 17? I told y'all this is when you want to buy. Because what does Warren Buffett say? Be greedy when others are fearful, and fearful for when others are greedy. Boom. What's happened? Our stocks, the stock market, everything, rocketing. I'm at an all-time high. Okay? As of today, as of this exact moment, I am at an all-time high. And you can be too. Just learn the lessons and get there. All right? Here we go. I mean, look at this track record. Just my last 9 picks there. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9. That's the last 9 picks, how they're doing. And 30% annualized going back to 2014 after all those triples I gave on Seeking Alpha from 2009 through 2013. Since 2014, documenting all my stuff here. Probably won't do this much longer because what do I got to prove? This is a 10-year track record. What else do you want? All right, that's it. That's all I got to say. Actually, I will give you the risk reward. No, I won't. I'll do it afterwards because this chart's already up here. TSSI. Here we go. By the way, this is a nice guy show. Okay, so one of the nice things I do, I will give you Q&A. So if you have Q&A, put it in the chat and put a question mark at the end of the Q&A. Now, you guys being nice guys and girls, right? Give me a thumbs up, okay? That's all I ask for. That helps spread the word, okay? Just give that thumbs up and we're good, right? That's nice guy. Now, the last nice guy, if you're in the chat and you say something that I don't like, guess what? I don't need followers. I don't do this for followers. I do this out of the goodness of my heart because I don't want to get kicked out of heaven, and I don't want something to happen to knock me off of what God has given me. God gave me this so that I could give it back. That's what I think, and that's what I'm doing. So if you want to be an a-hole in my chat, bye-bye. You're not just getting kicked off of this live. You're getting kicked completely off my channel forever because I don't need you. I feel bad for you. I hope God will cure whatever's wrong with you, but you're gone. That's the ground rules. All right. TSSI, here we go. Here's the chart. Look, veterans, you've never seen this before. You know what this is. This is my first stab at what the risk-reward chart will look like, okay, based on the research that I'm about to give you. So there you go. There's your first look at it. There's the more close-in look. That's a repeat of what we see right here, okay? And let's keep going. We're going to keep going quick. So here's the big thing. 2 things we got hit with. 1, we got their earnings announcement, okay? And I didn't pull that up, but I probably should have. And they put up 6 cents versus 1 cent a year. It doesn't even matter what it was a year ago, but it was only 1 cent. So they went 6x on earnings, but 6 cents, okay? Multiply that by 4 quarters in a year. That's 24-cent run rate. A 24-cent run rate means that they are trading at 15 times their current run rate. And here's the thing, y'all. In the earnings, they told us that this big ramp up only started in June. This was a June quarter, okay? April, May, June. At most, it was only 1 month that contributed to all that upside. And they put up 6 cents. Now, I've told you before that I think sometime, a few quarters down the road, they might challenge 20 cents in a quarter. 20 times 4 is 80 cents per year. 80 cents per year, give it the P you want, but it shouldn't be. This should not be a $3.50 stock. If these guys are going to put up 80 cents, never mind the dollar that GeoInvesting upgraded to, because they were sitting at somewhere around 20 cents, 80 cents per year, 20 cents per quarter. Now they're talking about 25 cents per quarter, $1 per year. And yeah, I can understand why. Stay tuned. We're going to keep talking about it. All right. There is a lot. You got to read this. Okay. Press release. That was easy to look up. You saw it. You saw me pull that up myself. You want to read the transcript. I use ticker TIKR. You can see the thing up there, right? And there are a few things that you want to see in here. I'm going to go through a couple things really quickly. right? And then wrap it all up for you. I'll show you my model that I'm working on. It's still a work in process, but spoiler alert, that 20 cents that I thought that they could challenge a few quarters down the road, it's not a few quarters down the road. It's this quarter. This quarter, okay? Hold on for that. There's a lot to go through here, so I'm sorry that I'm all over the place. I'm in Spain. What do you want? Few things. Great nuggets in this, right? But one thing that kind of stuck out, because I've been telling y'all that Elon Musk loves TSSI, that Elon Musk is using TSSI, that Elon Musk is putting up AI data centers, as you already know, because XAI, that's his new company. That's the company that he got funded with billions of dollars, and immediately said, we are using this billions of dollars to build AI data centers because he thinks that AGI is coming. You know, the ultimate in AI, right, is coming in 2 years. And he does not want to be behind his competitors if that's true. Now think about that. If we're going to get AGI, if we're going to get like the closest thing to computer consciousness is going to wake up within 2 years, right? This is why Google and Microsoft and Oracle and Elon Musk, among others, are all scrambling to build these giant AI data centers. Because whether or not we are going to get AGI in 2 years, you cannot afford, if you are one of those mega companies, you cannot afford to take your chances, because if Google gets it first and you weren't even trying, you're automatically years behind them. And they're going to take off and you're never going to catch them. Okay? So they're all spending. You can see it in all their transcripts. You look up Microsoft's transcript, Meta's transcript, Google's transcript. They all talk about it continuing to spend aggressively on AI. I continue to hear from the channel, including TSS, by the way, on their earnings call, they talked about supply chain challenges. There is not enough AI chips to go around. They can't get enough of everything that everybody wants to build these AI factories, or they would be doing even better than what they're doing now. Okay? And the CEO told me that they have visibility, and this was the big thing, right? Because one question a lot of people asked was, well, this is just one data center. What happens when it's done? You think they're only going to have one customer for their whole, like, this whole company was built to service one customer one time and that's it? Are you crazy? These guys are a premier partner of Dell. Dell is actually, now, they don't say it's Dell. I say it's Dell, okay? The company does not mention their premier partner by name, but Dell, I showed you before, named TSSI their premier partner, okay? We showed you that evidence, that proof. That's on the internet. Just Google it. That's easy to find. So it's Dell. Gave them money, $1.7 million to expand their capacity, okay? This company talked about 10xing their rack integration business, 10x. From 1.7, 10x takes them to 17 million. They did not do 17 million in a quarter. Let's go to the, actually, here we go, right? Their rack integration business. I told you that this business would double quarter to quarter, and what happened? It doubled quarter to quarter, and I've got it doubling again in the next quarter. Why? Because they were able to more than double this revenue with just 1 month of doing business with Elon Musk. What happens when they do 3 months in a row in the coming quarter? As they said in the conference call, that this project that started in June is going to continue through Q3 that we're now in. So I've been busting my head trying to work on all these numbers of what they're going to do in revenue in Q3. Mind you, these are not Wall Street expectations. There are none, first of all, but this is not how Wall Street expectations are done. How they're done is they build a model like this, and then they take a haircut off of that to make it easy for the company to beat those numbers, okay? So don't look at these numbers and say, oh, if they don't beat these numbers. No, this is the top end of what they can do, and then we're going to go from there. But look what we got. They gave us guidance for $50 million of procurement services. 50. They've never done 50 million, period. Okay? Until last year, because of this quarter right here, they had never done 50 million of revenue in a whole year. They're going to do 50 million in one line, in one quarter, and it's this quarter, and they said it on the earnings call, which is in this transcript right here. Okay? And by the way, as far as why, how is it Elon Musk? I showed you the proof. I showed you the tweets from Michael Dell, which the CEO of TSSI has responded to, of them being at the XAI site, doing business there. Okay? We also have this right here. They talked about they began delivering complex AI integration solutions on time, and I want to stress on time. There's a reason why he stressed that, including the first stage of a highly publicized program. Guess what? There is only one highly publicized program, and it's XAI. Because everybody knows about Google and Microsoft, and those are not highly publicized programs that just started. These are the only first stage program that's highly publicized is XAI. Okay? That's Elon Musk. You want to see something else? Let's type in autonomous. Autonomous vehicles. That's Tesla. Okay? And I told you a couple weeks ago that Elon Musk was building these data centers not only for XAI but also for Tesla, and he's prioritizing the chips for XAI. Right? He wants XAI to get the chips first. If they can't get the chips, all the chips they need, which they can't, and the ones that they want too, because black. Hold on a second. I'm gonna pull out my notes now because I want to go through these notes one by one. All right. So we got XAI, we got Tesla. I just showed you the evidence on that. Plus, I've shown you evidence in the past. So this just validates. Right? The company is not going to come out and say Tesla and XAI. But when you see the evidence all over the place, that tells you all you need to know. Okay? I already went over Oracle. Oracle, Tesla, Elon was going to do, what Elon was going to do was rent these chips from Oracle. Okay? And he was in negotiations. It was going to be a multi-year $10 billion deal. And then he decided, whoa, why would I want to do this with somebody else's chips? Because if I want to be the first, and this is what he said, he wants to be, all these companies want to be the first to get to AGI. How are you going to do that on somebody else's platform? No, you want your own platform, so you got to own your own house, right? Because the landlord could kick you out and then that's it. What are you going to do then? He wants to own his own house. And no matter what's going on with Blackwell, I don't know what's going on here. I don't want that. Dismiss. No matter what's going on with Blackwell, for those who don't know, the next generation of NVIDIA chips Blackwell is delayed now to Q1 of next year. Okay? And the fear was, if you look up NVIDIA, part of the reason for this decline was as word came out, and by the way, I hinted at this because I had heard through the grapevine that TSS had found some flaws in the chips that NVIDIA has. Okay? And there were flaws in the Blackwell chips that they are now trying to get up and running. They're going to fix that, and people sold the stock off. But here's the problem. These customers can't wait for Blackwell. Because what if it's delayed beyond Q1 into Q2? Are you going to just sit there from August until next June waiting for the Blackwell chip? No. They're going to just keep buying H100s. And that's what's happening right now. Okay? So you should know that. By the way, Oracle, $10 billion. Well, that buys a lot of servers. That buys a lot of business. And to give $50 million to TSSI is nothing. Okay? That's part of the procurement, by the way. Okay? That's going on. They're procuring all of these products that need to go into these data centers, and the numbers have just exploded through the roof to where they had to give guidance of $50 million on the earnings call. Let me see if I can replicate that. There you go. Okay? And it actually said potentially surpassing $50 million in revenue for the quarter. Okay, so I'm modeling all that. I'm incorporating all this. I'm talking to management, trying to get the margin profile. You see margins in the, by the way, the other thing you should read is the 10Q. Okay, so you got the earnings press release, look that up, read it. You got the transcript, look that up, read it. And you got the 10Q, look that up and read it. Okay, and what you want to see here, among other things, let's see. There we go. Okay. Who do you think's done that? Who do you think read the press release, got on the earnings call, read the transcript afterwards, and read the 10Q? I did that. This guy did it. I slept 90 minutes in 48 hours because I wanted the advantage. I wanted to know, should I buy more of this stock and how much of it should I buy? Okay? And you already know what I did. Backed up the truck and I was buying all day. I showed proof of that in my WhatsApp groups. Okay? Because of all these things. Told you already, Dell gave them 1.7 million. That's not all they did. Look, buried in this big old 10Q, of which I read every word. Our primary customer has committed to a certain minimum quantity of wraps for which they will compensate us weekly and cover a portion of our fixed costs each month to maintain the facility and staffing levels. Look at that stuff. Okay? These guys, it's funny because a lot of people got scared during the quarter because the company talks about, well, our results are going to be lumpy. Yeah, lumpy up. Lumpy up is what's going on. And to help with any lumpiness along the way, they have gotten commitments to certain minimum quantities and fixed cost compensation to build out. They're like, just keep hiring, keep building. We need all the capacity we can get. We are Dell. We are trying to crush SMCI, which I told y'all to short. And look what's happening. Dell is looking to crush these guys. Dell wants all the business, and TSSI is the premier partner of Dell. That's why you're seeing this happening, okay? And Elon Musk is giving all this business to Dell, and partly because of the great job that TSSI is doing, okay? Now, what are some of the other things? I'm going to pull out my notes again, right? One of the other things, and I can erase this now because we're not going to go back to this. I'm just going to talk, right? You guys know what you need to do now. And that's for the next thing. We don't need that anymore. We got this. We'll talk about this as well. Why is TSSI doing such a great job? Because of the new CEO. Look him up. Look up his LinkedIn. The dude's phenomenal. He's a multi-decade professional, been a senior sales executive at multiple firms you know, IBM, I2, which you might not know, but I know because I covered them back in the internet bubble. One of the hottest stocks during the internet bubble. They ended up getting acquired. And Dell. He spent the last 9 years at Dell. You wonder why all this business is coming TSSI's way from Dell? Do you think a guy that spent multi-decades of his career at IBM, I2, and Dell as a senior sales executive would go to this little pissant company to do 10 million of revenue per quarter? No. And I asked him that, and he said, no. So what is their advantage? One, this Dewan is phenomenal. He turned the company around quickly. Okay, so those of you who are looking at the stock and saying, well, it's up from 25 cents. No, it's not up from 25 cents. It's down from $1.70 to 25 cents because the old CEO almost drove the company out of business when it was doing well. Look at the trajectory the stock was on. If you go back and look at this, right? Let's look at this chart. There we go, okay? The company was on a nice trajectory. It was heading towards a $6 price target price back in the 2019 through 21 time frame, and then it snowballed down, okay? The CEO needed to be replaced. What was left in his wake was a mess. The new CEO did not tell me this, by the way. I have my own sources. This is why Jim Cramer and others used to use me, is because I pick up the phone. I meet people. I go places where I'm not supposed to be. Not illegal, But I'll go anywhere I'm not supposed to be, as long as then I'll even take the chance of getting handcuffed. I just don't want to get the chance of going to jail. Okay, so I'll do anything to get information and make money off of that information because it's legal to do, and that's what sharks do. And so we get this stuff, right? We have this company that was on a great run, got almost knocked out of business. The CEO comes in, Daryl, turns the company around, right? Now they're back just on the trajectory that they should have been on in the first place. So this is not a 25-cent to $2 story or $3 story. This is a stock that was already $1.70 and just moving on a normal trajectory. All right. Why are they doing so great right now? What is their big advantage? One of them, the CEO told me, liquid cooling. Okay. AI servers need liquid cooling, and that's the big difference between a traditional Dell server and an AI server, is the liquid cooling that it requires. Dell didn't have that before because they weren't selling AI servers. Supermicro was. They had the head start. They had the advantage. That's why Supermicro stock was doing so well. And why it's crashing now is because Dell has figured out how to catch up. And big part of that is TSS has a major facility doing the liquid cooling and already looking at opening another facility for all the demand on liquid cooling that they get. Okay? Confirmed with the CEO in my call to him. Liquid cooling, big advantage for them. And I also told you to short Vertiv. Okay? You see what that stock has done? Crushed as well. Why? Because Vertiv was the early game in town. They're not the only game in town. In fact, the CEO mentioned at least 3 companies that they're in discussions with alongside Vertiv. Now, so Vertiv goes from being dominant, near 100% market share to 1/3 of the business. What happens to the stock? It gets crushed. That's why I told you to short the stock. Okay, so that takes care of that. All right, we got AGI in 2 years. We got the expansion money. We got the minimum business assurances. All right, so what we have going on here is the reason they said 10x is because that's all their facility can handle. Okay, they got all the demand. Basically, they got approached and said, we need you to ramp up as big as you can get. How big can you get? And they're like, well, this facility, we could get 10x bigger in this facility. And they were like, well, get 10x bigger because we need more than 10x. Okay? Word has it from the field, not from the CEO. He doesn't tell me anything he's not supposed to. I find information from everybody else. Word has it that the 10x is already 12 or 14. They're going to actually push extra hard in that facility, and they're, like I said, already looking to build a whole other facility. This 10x becomes 20x pretty quickly. Okay? So, hold on a second here. We got information coming in. Let's see if it's anything critical right now, because it is coming in from one of my sources. Okay, really interesting. Okay, here we go. So that 10x is just the first phase. They want to go to 20x. And this model only shows you 1 month. This right here, that is 1 month of them moving towards 10x. And they didn't get close to the 10x in this quarter. This quarter, they're going to get a lot closer to it. And they still, I don't think, will be at a full 10x in this quarter. In fact, they won't be. These numbers do not reflect full 10x. Full 10x gets reflected in a future quarter that is even bigger than this quarter, excluding the procurement. The procurement goes all over the place. Okay? It has small margins, mind you, but it still has a nice impact on the quarter. It's like gravy on top. So the revenues look audacious, right? But once you get to the bottom line, it has a smaller impact, but it's still nice, and that's why I back out and I show you the revenue x the procurement so you can see the numbers. Excluding the procurement, it hasn't been that lumpy a business. 3.5, 5.5, 5.0, 3. It's pretty steady business until this quarter, right? Last quarter we moved from 3.6 to 4.372 in 1 quarter. And I have them going to 13 next quarter, and I have them going right now, as of right now, to 17 the quarter after that. They're getting all the business that they can handle. Last note I have on this particular page is that, oh, by the way, they now meet the minimum threshold requirements to uplist. You guys notice this thing isn't trading on a normal exchange. What happens when it does? They uplist to NASDAQ, boom, takes off. By the way, market cap, let's see, TSSI stock. What do we got? Market cap, 85 million. If this stock can get to $7, that's the math, all right? I just did this math right now, live. If these guys can get to $7 by around May of next year, so that's like 9 months from now, on a company that can do a $1 run rate, okay? So if they can just get to that $1 run rate and a PE of 7 on that dollar run rate, let's say they only get to a 50-cent run rate with a PE of 14. That's still 7. They get it to 7, they get into the Russell 2000, and then institutions are forced to buy this stock, okay? And then institutions will be buying this stock. They will start buying this stock. If the stock gets to 7 in December or January, they will start buying the stock then. You do not want to be buying Russell stocks in June. We found out the hard way. Mea culpa, by the way, partly on that, okay? We got a loser amongst all these winners. I take some of the responsibility for that, for jumping on a stock that gave us a surprise. They surprised us and got into the Russell, but the institutions had already been buying. You got to be early on this. So this thing gets up to 7 by January. It's going to get the institutional buying going, and it probably just keeps going through June of next year when they get into the Russell 2000, assuming all this happens. All right, so that's that on that. That's the model. That's another subject. So let's see what else I have on TSSI. By the way, you can ask questions in the queue, but the bottom line is this. All right, let me calm down and just give you the bottom line on this. The only gating factor to continued growth on these guys is their facility size. They are looking to add more capacity. Because of the liquid cooling that they're doing, because of the sheer amount of volume that is needed, XAI wants to build the largest. Google this. Don't trust me. Google it. Elon Musk wants XAI to be the largest AI data center in the world. Okay? That's what TSSI is helping them build. In addition to the autonomous driving piece that's going on at Tesla. You know that Twitter also is doing this as well, and they're bringing in Dell for a lot of this work. And this is not Dell's only customer. Dell has tons of customers. They're going to get tons of customers on the AI side. Elon Musk is not going to be their only customer. Of course, it's Dell. And Dell is going to be bringing TSSI along for the ride on a lot, if not most of those deals. So the only gating factor on this company's revenue is how fast can they grow? How fast can they build new facilities? Because the current one is going to top off soon. With this liquid cooling, they need power. You've heard that word before. The CEO did tell me this. I'll tell you when the CEO tells me something specifically or when I get it on my own. We need more power. We cannot get enough power. It's not that they can't get enough power. I mean, like, they can't. You can give them all the power you got. If you've got power, they want it. That's what they mean. He's like, I can't get enough of it. Give me more power. I can't get enough of it. Okay? He has visibility. They have visibility into continued growth right through 2025. And that only makes sense because he's not telling us about XAI, but I found out about it through other channels. And if you look up Elon Musk's build plan on XAI, you will know that this is going to continue straight through next year, this build out. And that's just that one data center. Never mind Tesla, never mind Twitter, X, and never mind all the other customers that Dell is attracting. This company's going to get as big as it can. And by the way, they're going after Fed business. They've got new salespeople. That's the other thing, right? Like, to have a CEO that turns the company around is one thing, but to have a CEO that turns the company around and has a background in executive sales going back multiple decades is beautiful, because he's already, I didn't know if he could turn the business around because he was a salesperson. I know he can sell. Well, he turned the business around, and now he's bringing in the top salespeople that he knows from his decades of experience to start selling more deals for these guys. I feel like this is going to be a great company on top of the excitement around XAI, AI data centers, all that. You guys can get hyped up over that. And yes, the show does get you excited, but what do I teach you? Follow the rules. And the rules come down to numbers, Warren Buffett type numbers. Okay? And so when I'm running the numbers, this is what I'm coming up with. Potential. Don't lock this in stone. This is not Wall Street estimates. I told you already. But this quarter, 19 cents I'm at right now. Okay? That's where I'm at right now for this quarter based on the numbers that I've gathered so far. And I still feel like I'm off. I think the numbers are going to go up. They might go down if other things, but I don't think I have the margin profile down yet. Okay? I haven't been able to figure out how they're generating more and more margins, because that's what they did this quarter. That's the one thing that I was way off on, was the margins. They went up. And they said on the call that as you get bigger, are you going to continue to get leverage on your margins? And they said yes, which is that's what happens when a company gets bigger. Their margins get bigger because you're bigger. You have economies of scale. But they actually said it. It's nice to hear it directly from them. Okay? So, wow. Put your questions in the queue, but bottom line is these guys are really establishing themselves as like a leading player, not just a small player, but a leading player in the world of generating these AI data centers, building them out. They also have a modular architecture that is going to come into play now. Once they build out a data center, right, they can use their modular capabilities to actually build smaller chunks of data centers in different places, on site, on their site, and then just deliver these smaller chunks so they become like just plug-and-play building blocks to the data centers. They're finding efficiencies with regard to cabling to make sure that the cabling is done efficiently. That's where he said on time, and I mean on time. When I told you that earlier and I was going to tell you why, this is why. Not everybody can do that. I have heard about complaints about this company, SMCI. They are not doing a good job of customer service. They can't scale. And I told you this. This is never a great server company in the first place. They were just in the right place at the right time, and the complaints keep coming in. And as they do, and Dell proves itself to be a superior player, okay, their stock coming down also just because the stock ran crazy. I mean, this is Dell. You don't get a company like Dell running like this without a pullback, especially when all the news came out on NVIDIA, etc. But trust me, Dell is eating their lunch. My play has been long NVIDIA, long TSSI. You guys see it. Just go to StockTwits at MasterCap. Proof is there. I've been saying it all along. Long TSSI, long NVIDIA, short SMCI, and short VRT. And that's worked great. Okay? So, I think that's it. I think I've beaten a dead horse on this, but they're going to keep growing. They're going to be, I think, a bigger and bigger player. I think 2025 is definitely going to be bigger than 2024. 2024 has already given us all we need to justify the valuation on the stock, and it's only going to get bigger next quarter, and the management has already told us that, already given us that guidance. But there's no Wall Street analysts that were listening to that call, so that's not word on Wall Street. This is not a listed company on the NASDAQ, so you don't have all the day traders blowing up this stock. A lot of y'all can't even buy this stock on the platform that you're on. I've told you to get on E-Trade or Interactive Brokers. Okay, so if you haven't been able to buy the stock, blame yourself. Fix it today, because this is not the last stock pick I'm going to have. This is not the last triple I'm going to call. Okay? I've been doing this my whole life. That's just what I do. And now I'm doing it for you. And all you have to do is your part for yourself, dummy. Okay? All right, let's move on. Because I want to get this show done. That's TSSI. And that's why I picked the stock. That's why it is the latest pick of my portfolio. Another winner. And the quarter was a huge home run. Beautiful. All right, put your questions in the queue. We're going to keep going with some other picks and information. Oh, geez, you know what? I wasn't even done. I hope you guys read this, okay? They're talking about the facility management business. Actually, this is from Geo Investing, okay? And they also, I don't think I got it in time. No, I didn't get it in time for this. But there is a Substack article on TSSI that is amazing from Geo Investing, okay? If you don't find it, ask about it next week, and I'll put it in the queue, but look that up. Geo Investing on Substack, they did an amazing write-up on TSSI. This was part of it, and we now know is getting the modular business could be extremely additive to our quarterly EPS run rate forecast of 20 cent plus. And then also, this was the autonomous vehicle, so we already did that. Boom, the model, boom. Okay, we're on to the next thing. Whew, 45 minutes on TSSI. What does that tell you? All right, we'll go through the rest really quick. All right, I'm not going to even go over this too much, but the Trump trades, because I promised it, the Trump trades are reversing. Why? Somebody want to know. Why is the Russell pulling back? Why is Fannie Mae pulling back? Why is Donald J. Trump stock pulling back? Simple. Trump is falling in the polls. Okay? Now, I told you that if you actually look at the polls that matter, which is the actual electoral college, Trump still leads. But on the popular vote, Kamala Harris seems to have taken the lead in many of the polls. I'm neutral party. I just want to make money. Okay? So my job is to figure out what's going to happen to the best of my ability and react to it to try to make money. What my best guess is, and listen, if you like Kamala, that's fine. If you like Trump, that's fine. Right? I'm not here to talk about them and my feelings about either one of them. But historically speaking, after the Democratic National Convention, the hype dies down for that candidate. When a candidate comes onto the scene, the hype takes off for that candidate. You guys remember Ross Perot? Look up that name. He was like, everybody thought he was going to be the president when he burst onto the scene and got this massive surge. And yeah, I'm going to vote for him. I'm going to vote for him. By the time it was done, he got like 7% of the vote. 7. Okay? So there's always a pullback in excitement after something exciting happens. Not saying that it was exciting that Donald Trump got shot at, right? But it was excitement, and it raised him up in the polls. Okay? And then now that's died down because Kamala Harris burst onto the scene. I'm going to run for president instead of Joe Biden. And she gets all the press and people get hyped up. Well, people are not going to stay hyped for the next 3 months. So that's going to die down as well. And then we're going to see, and I don't know who is going to be in the lead after that die down occurs. But that's when we're going to see who's in the lead for the presidency. And you're going to want to play DJT, or I prefer FNMA, right? If you think Trump is going to win, you're going to want to buy them. If you think he's going to lose, you want to short them. That's how that works. All right. And by the way, IWM also pulled back, and that's because that's also a Trump trade. But now it's pulling back, moving back up because the stock market's moving up. But you see up 0.24% today, in line with the rest of the market. It's no longer lagging again because people thought, oh, that's just a trade. And it wasn't just a trade. Okay, this is what's actually happening. It's the undulating motions of what we're going to see for the next 4 years in terms of interest rates, inflation, etc., and presidency culminating in the stock market. That's how it works. Okay. Before we talk about stocks, carry trade that caused this big crash, right, in the market. Was it last week? It might even be 2 weeks ago now. That's not over yet, by the way. But what you want to watch for, right, is inflation in Japan. But there's weakness around the world. economically. The economy around the world is slowing down. Inflation is slowing down around the world, and that will help inflation slow down in Japan. If that happens, then Japan does not need to raise rates, and everything's going to be okay. But if inflation takes off, and don't predict it, how many times I tell you, don't predict, react. If you start to see inflation taking off, right, then you want to short the yen, and you want to protect your positions. Remember how I went yellow alert on the NASDAQ a few weeks ago? We got the crash. I went yellow alert on SPY, we got the crash. We can get that crash starting again if inflation ticks back up and forces Japan to raise rates again, causing another round of this carry trade. I won't describe it to you because it's complex, but just trust me, that's how it's going to go down. All right? So you could short the yen, which actually FXY, okay? You see how it went down? That was a great short. Now it ran back up. You could be a short again as a hedge, okay? Or YCL, same deal. Those would be nice hedges against a yen carry trade being a problem. One more thing that's good for the economy, China. I told you that was a short of mine. I told you I covered it recently. You can see that was a good move because the stocks, the ETF is now moving back up. Why is it moving back up? For the very reason I told you, okay? My concern with remaining short China right here was that things were getting so bad in China that China was going to have to make some moves. The government was going to have to make some moves to inject liquidity to save their economy from going straight into the tank. And now, that's not just my idea anymore. That's now news. That people believe that China is starting to inject liquidity to save their economy. And when China injects liquidity, it helps the whole world. So this move that you saw here, look, you've also seen it here, you've also seen it here, you've also seen it here. Liquidity drives the markets more than almost anything else, and China is being forced to inject it real soon, if not already doing it, and the market's getting ahead of that. Okay, let's get back to stocks so we can call it a day. Evolve, real quick news, insiders buying. Wow, insiders buying, this selling, yeah, forget about selling, okay? Insiders sell for many reasons, but they only buy for one, okay? And they're buying now. And why? Probably for the very reason I told you that I own this stock. Because the machines work. There's plenty of evidence out there. Go look or get access to my WhatsApp rooms. If you know somebody that's already in them, they can refer you and I will let you in. I don't let just anybody in. But we've been gathering so much evidence of the 5,000 machines that are out there. Of course they work. You can't sell 5,000 to something over the course of several years having it not work. In fact, it just works better and better and better each year. The shorts are lying to you, and now the insiders put their money where their mouth is, where the truth is. This is a great company, period. Next. Geodrill. I told you guys. I told you they were going to have a great quarter. And either you listened or you didn't. And if you listened, you got this great move on the stock. It's pulling back. That is dumb. All right? But I get it. Because gaps get filled. So it's filling the gap. And guess what? The gap is just about filled here. This stock needs to keep going higher. I told you that. And guess what? Beacon comes out, raises their price target. They didn't just raise their price target. They crushed their old price target. From 225 to 350. I rarely see a Wall Street firm increase their price target by 55%. From 225 to 350. That's way up here, ladies and gentlemen. And that's just the beginning. Because I suspect that they left some meat on this bone because it's silly enough. You really kind of look dumb, right? And these guys are smart. D'Angelo's a smart guy. But you look dumb when your price target's 225 and you're forced to raise it to 350. Dude, what were you thinking? Why didn't you raise your price target at least to 275 before you were forced to raise it to 350? Why didn't you do that at the same time that Money Mark was telling all his followers down here that this stock should be at 350? And we got all this movement here. That was back here, by the way. No, it was back here. See the arrow? The green arrow. Back here when I told you guys to buy the stock. Okay? And look what we got. And I still tell you this stock is going, or should be going. I'm not telling you where it's going. I'm not God. Only God knows that. If I tell you where it's going, God's going to punish me. That's the way I live. Karma, right? I believe that this stock is going past 4. And that 350 price target is just a stair step from the 225 to the 350 to what is ultimately going to be 4 plus. Because these guys have full momentum. Go back to last week's show for more on that, because I talked about it already. So if you want more on that, don't be a moron. Go back to last week's show. All right? There we go on that. Next, this is a video that you should watch. I'm not going to play it for you. And unfortunately, oh, there we go. But I'm going to show you this little piece right here. In January 2024, Intermap won a $20 million contract to map the island of, I'm not going to pronounce it, Indonesia. The contract is the first phase. It represents 1/10, 10% of the full program. 20 million is 10% of a full program that they fully expect to get. This is a $200 million deal, ladies and gentlemen, for the company Intermap, whose stock currently trades with a market cap of 33 million. I've been telling you that this is a stock that I own, that I think that people should own, and this has been just in recent months. Okay, I told you guys I bought at 47 cents. I bottom ticked the stock, Intermap, so I can show you exactly where this happened. Boom, that was me. You see that? You see that candle right there? That was me at 47 cents. That whole candle was me, among other moves I've made on this stock. And telling you guys that a company with a $200 million deal should not be trading for $33 million, especially when management comes on and tells you they give you guidance for 16 to 18 million in revenue, 25% EBITDA margins, that's 4 to 4.5 million. That is basically cash flow. That's basically earnings per share, basically, okay? And therefore, that basically means they're trading at effectively a PE, I'm going to call it a PE, it's not the PE, but it's basically the same thing, of 7. 7. Not 17, 7. This stock needs to go much higher, okay? Much higher. And it continues to do that. That's the Intermap news and update on that. I close this. I leave this open for you for a second so you can see. You want to look at the Small Cap Discoveries Intermap Technology interview with CEO Patrick Block. Lock that in. Watch it tonight, over the weekend, whatever. It's long, but it's worth it. It's just like an hour. You've already listened to me for almost an hour. Okay? And you will understand what this company does and why I own a great chunk of this company. Next, Quipt. This has not been a great stock for us. It's not all guns and roses. But what do the rules say when a company gets down to the green line? Buy. Okay? That's the plan. Buy the stock. If you follow the rules on OSSIF, okay? Let's zoom in. You see that? Buy right there? Ladies and gentlemen, did you buy right there? Because if you did, let's move this line a little bit. Right there. If you bought it there at 40 cents like you were supposed to, 1 week later, the company gets bought out. Buy out, buy. If you didn't have the cojones to follow the rules and buy at the green line like the rules tell you, you missed a buyout. I'll just wait until they're doing good. Good. Guess what? They're never going to do good for you because they just got bought out for me at a 51% increase over the green line price. And guess what? It's not done yet because the buyout price was 64, which is up here. That's a 58% profit over the green line price, over 70%, over, where it is, I don't even know where it is here. It's on my list. It was one of my buys. It's in here somewhere. 72% over when I told you guys to first buy OSSIF down here somewhere. Okay? Boom. That's your news there. I don't need to say anything else. And there doesn't need to be any... Oh, that was... that's the news on OSSIF. Getting back to Quip, which is in a similar situation, I'll just wait until they're doing better. Does that sound familiar? I said it about 1 minute ago. And here we are at the green line. And guess what? This company is going to get acquired. I don't guarantee it. I believe it. Only God knows if they're going to get acquired. But I firmly, highly, I believe so strongly that this company is going to get acquired, not Monday. I'm not going to make a guess on when. But I would bet a bullet through my hand. That's about as far as I go. I'm not going to bet my baby. I'm not going to put it on my mama. None of that stuff. But I would bet a bullet through my hand that these guys will be acquired. Okay? And it's going to be at a much higher price than this. They're going through a rough patch. Guess what? You only get to buy stocks at the green line when they're going through a rough patch, dummy. There's no stock, there's no company doing great with a chart that looks like this. They look bad. The business is going through a rough patch when they're down here. The question is, are they going to come through the rough patch? I say yes. 100% believe they're going to come through this, and this stock is going to be much higher, right? I think that odds of them getting to this $11 price target is low. But can they get up to this 6 or 7? Yes, absolutely, because one of their competitors just got bought out at a valuation that if you do the same math on Quip, you get $6 or $7. And they just got acquired. Leaving Quip as the number 4 player in the space where the top 3 have been consolidating. There's 3 mega companies buying everybody out. And these guys are a distant number 4. So guess what? When you're racing to be number 1, what's the best way to become number 1? Buy number 4. If you're competing with 3 companies, you buy number 4, right? It's like LeBron getting with Anthony Davis. That's what you want to do. You get with the next best player. So that's Quip. And by the way, $6 price target, lowered from 8, but still 6. That's still double from where we are right now. Follow the rules, period. And that's it for the prepared remark. We're going to go through Q&A real quick, and then I'm going to get out of here and enjoy time with my family. Oh, what did I miss something here? Oh, GeoDrill. I was just going to give you the numbers. Let me see. I think what I have here says that I expect them to soon... We'll talk about this in the future. 41 cents at EPS is where I see these guys going. Okay? I see them going to 41 cents at EPS. Stock's trading at $2.60. You do the math. That's all we need. And the CEO owns 39.5%. 40% of the company the CEO owns. And he just bought $80,000. The guy already owns 40% of the company. He took an extra $80,000 out of his own pocket to buy more shares. This dude doesn't need more shares. Usually when somebody owns 40% of the company, they're selling shares to buy a big house. You know, when the stock does well. Right? I don't have any cash. I got tons of stock. I'm going to sell some. That's why you don't get panicked over stock sales. That's what happens with these things. Okay? Oh, by the way, they've got a buyback in place. They got a buyback. Okay? And the dividend is coming back soon. They just want to make sure that they put some more cash on the balance sheet so they have more cushion just in case something happens. He's a smart guy. He owns 40% of the company. He doesn't want things to go bad. So before he reinstates the dividend, he's going to make a little bit more money, and they're going to make a little bit more money in the coming quarter, in the coming quarter, in the coming quarter. They're going to show growth, year-over-year growth, right? They have lumpy quarters, but year-over-year it's going to continue to be higher and higher versus last year's Q3. This year's Q3 is going to be higher versus last year's Q4. This year's Q4 is going to be higher. That's my belief. Gun to hand. Because they have contracts, multi-year contracts with Tier 1 gold miners. Oh, gold, remember that? All-time highs. This stock should be at an all-time high. But they went through a transition. Go watch my old videos so you know. And therefore, you know my lesson. When a company is in a better position than they were at an all-time high, they go to an all-time high. That is a great rule, and it works time and time and time again. And an all-time high is $3.65. This stock needs to go past that. What's past 365? $4. What did I tell you? $4. What's $4 from here? 73%. Well, the top of this line is 73%. $4 is 55% up from here, these levels. Q&A, let's go to it. Put TSSI on the screen for y'all, for your viewing enjoyment while we take some Q&A. Let's see what we got here. I'm looking for question marks. I'm going to skip all comments today. I'll read them later. Thank you for them, though. I appreciate everybody's kudos. And if you like what I'm giving you, give me a thumbs up. All right, this is all free. No sponsorships, no advertisement. This is just me, a dude who became a multi-millionaire back in 2004, I think I became a multi-millionaire, but retired in 2009 and have been doing this for free ever since. I don't have to be doing this. I could be out with my family in Madrid enjoying my Spanish vacation. I take this hour out just for you for no other reason. Okay? Except I want to help y'all. I want to build a bigger community of contributors because people do hit me with information because I do this. Okay? So there's good benefits that come back that I didn't even think of when I started doing this. I really just started doing this out of the goodness of my heart at first, and look what we've become. Okay? So if you want to contribute to that, if you like what I'm doing and want to see me come back week after week, just give me that thumbs up. You can hit the subscribe button and you'll get notified every time I go live because it's not just on Fridays. If I come live and it's not a Friday, trust me, I'm giving you big news. The last time I did that, it was EVLV and it went up 45% after that video. So you can hit the subscribe if you want to. I don't need that. I need your thumbs up. That's what hits the algorithm. Okay, Q&A. Is the Canadian market or just the U.S. market the driver of the price for Kraken, KRK, NF? One of my top 3 positions. Okay, love this company. Go watch my last videos to know why. The stock continues to rise. It is both, my friend. It's getting demand from the Canadian market and the U.S. market. Simple answer. I believe that will continue. That's why it's a top 3 position in my personal portfolio. Regardless of the rules, remember, the rules are follow the rules, not what Mark says. But I tell you what Mark does so you know what I'm doing. It might give you a hint, but follow the rules. Until you master the rules, don't start doing other things. You guys get too hyped up. Learn the rules, just follow them. There's no emotion in the rules. I haven't started a position in TSSI. Do I start one now with a recent run-up? It's chasing, but I don't feel like a pullback is going to come. Bro, see, the rule is if you mess up, right, go back in time and fix it, which you can't do, so go into the future and fix it. I can't tell you exactly what to do here, but you heard what I told you. And I was a buyer at prices. I bought stock all the way up to $3.50. Okay? And I am tempted to buy more here, to be honest. But I paid $3.50 yesterday for this stock, and it's $3.83. So what are we talking about here? Right? This is not really a chase because the stock was already here back in July. Right? That was when it was a chase because it quickly moved from 240 to 360. It was up 50%. After I recommended it, and then it made a pullback. Now it's just back to where it was before. That's not a chase to me. It's kind of a chase off this move, but it's not a chase off of where the stock has been or where it should be going based on what we heard. Tough question, but from now on, follow my work, follow my picks, and trust that if I come out here and tell you that I'm buying this stock at $2.40, don't question it, right? I mean, man, I don't want to come off as like, buy the stocks when I tell you to buy them. That's not what I want, right? So it's tough, but that's really what you got to end up doing, you know, if you don't want to end up chasing sometimes. So it's not a perfect, right? There's a little bit of art to this. But no, I don't think it's chasing at this point. How much potential revenue do you think is not baked into Evolve's Q3, Q4? I don't know. I have no idea. I just know this is a great company. I know that they're a leader in what they do. Last week I called it a closet stock, a stock that you can buy and hold. Okay? You have to be like top one or two leaders in your market. EVLV, CTLP. These are leaders in their market that you can buy the stock, put it in the closet, and not worry about watching this show or anything. 3 years from now, if you buy a basket of all the companies that I tell you are put it in the closet stocks, I think your portfolio will do phenomenal without doing any more work than that. But you have to meet very stringent criteria. Being the leader at what you do. Look, I backed up the truck on TSS, and it's one of my top 3 positions, but it doesn't qualify as a closet stock. We have to keep watching what these guys do. And right now, we're going to watch them continue to be great, right? But if at some point in time they stop being great, you're going to want it out of your portfolio, and I'm going to tell you about it on this show. So you don't want to put it in the closet for the next 3 years in case something goes wrong. 3 years from now, or a year from now, or whatever, maybe they become the leader instead of a leader. And I say, now you can put this in the closet, close your eyes, and don't look back. All right? There's a difference. CTLP, EVLV, those are closet stocks. I don't need to watch them every quarter to quarter. I pay more attention to what companies like this are doing because this is where we get more bang for our buck in spending 48 hours awake doing research on a name. I don't need to do that with EVLV. I can put that in the closet and sleep without even paying attention to them at all. I don't even need to read the next press releases that come out. I don't need to be on the next earnings call for like the next years to come. All right? Just to let you know. ATGN chart, please. There's another one. Look, that hit the green line. Did you buy it on the green line drop? Because if you did, you made a very quick 30, 40, 50%. Okay? Here we are, near the green line again. There's your... By the way, those who don't know, you can request a chart. I'll put it up on the screen. What's the risk of Intermap falling into wait time like PESI has been? PESI's program hasn't started yet. Intermap's has. They got paid $5 million to get started. They're deploying. They have pictures of them in Indonesia actually working. Okay, that's the difference. PESI is not working on that program getting paid the way they're supposed to yet. Is it coming soon? Sure, but it hasn't happened. I like to show up at the baseball arena in the second inning, not in the first inning, because you can get rained out. So it's better to be a little patient with those things. That's called wait time. Let's wait for the game to start. Let's wait to know that the rain's not coming. Let's wait for things to start happening before we get into the stock during the wait time. If you don't know what wait time is, you know what you have to do. Read my instruction manual. What if the government drags its feet on the other 90%? That's a great question. If they drag the feet on the other 90%, guess what? They still have given us guidance to what gives them a 7 PE. Okay? There's a lot that's not baked into this stock. 10% of this deal gives them enough profitability to give them a 7 PE on the current stock price. The other 90% just keeps it going for years to come. So yes, we want to watch this to see if that happens, but in the meantime, we've already got $4 million of EBITDA baked into the guidance and already going. It's gold mine at this time. What do I think about Quipt continuing to seek acquisitions? I think it's smart that they do that. Okay, they are an acquirer. The bigger they get, the more attractive they are to the big 3 players. You mentioned SMSI. You know, you don't keep loading up. I can't go through all this. Come back and ask next week if you got more on this. But the bottom line is this company has a lot of value behind it. It's not in wait time like SMSI. It's in gold mine, just in a rough patch of gold mine. QIPT is. Okay? They are going to buy back shares, I believe. They're going to buy companies, I believe. They're going to do all of the above. Do I think that the best use of their money is buying back shares? As a shareholder, yes. But they have a good point. The more companies they acquire, the bigger they get, and the bigger they get, the more attractive they are to the big 3 in the industry to get bought out. And I want them to get bought out, so I think they should make those acquisitions. Even though I think they should be buying back stock at these levels too. And by the way, why is the stock up 7% today, which it was before I even came onto the broadcast? I believe it's because institutions are buying the stock today. They waited for the dust to settle on the quarter, and now they're buying the stock. fully believe that. I'm not just pulling that out of my ASS. All right, I've been a Wall Street guy for 30 years. I know how this stuff works. I have phone calls in the back channels. I know who's doing what a lot of times. Trust me, I believe institutions are buying this stock right now. How would you position size the picks that don't have risk reward charts? Come back and ask me next week. But you see the charts that I'm putting here, right? Like this is kind of my rough stab at what I think the risk reward chart is going to look like. Those bright light white lines. Okay, that's what I think it's going to look like, is those bright white lines. And that's the best I can do for you for now. All right, I got to continue doing work. Is there a better way to look at this thing? Yes. There you go. All right, these bright white lines. Yes, I can go back to here. If the CEO like all of a sudden turns into a loser, it's not going to happen. Knock on wood. Pray to God. Look, do I consider Crescendo, Evolve, Intermap, Kraken, and TSSI as official secondary picks? Well, TSSI is an official pick. You see it in the portfolio, but I told you guys, I'm going to get out of the habit of making official picks in my spreadsheet because I got nothing more to prove. I might put Crescendo in there. I might put Kraken in there. Kraken should be in here. Like, if you watch this show every week, you know that Kraken belongs in this spreadsheet. And I told you that I'm not going to put these stocks in the spreadsheet as my, right? Like, I'll do that maybe later to say, hey, I've been here talking about Kraken since it was 50 cents or whatever, and put it in the spreadsheet, whatever. But, dude, what do you want from me? I had a 5-year track record with Seeking Alpha, 19 triples, and the 5 that were outstanding when I left became triples as well. That was 24 triples in 5 years picked on Seeking Alpha. I have this track record, 10-year track record. I don't need a track record anymore. You're either following me or you're not. I don't care about it. Like, putting stuff in this tracking sheet, it distracted me. It kept me away from finding winning picks. And when I told you I was going to stop doing that, what did I tell you I was going to do with the rest of the time? Find winning picks. I was going to focus less on portfolio management. You guys handle that. You guys learn the lessons. You handle that. Because I'm not a portfolio manager, teacher. I am a stock analyst that used to sell my research to stock analysts and portfolio managers. And that's what I'm going to get back to. And what has happened since? Crescendo, Evolve, Intermap, Kraken, TSSI. So, you guys tell me in the chat. Put it in. Put it in right now. Tell me, do you want me to continue giving you picks, or do you want me to mine the 1% portfolio? Do you want picks or portfolio? Let me know in the chat. Let's go. Genesis is close to gold mine. Yes, they're close to gold mine, but they're not gold mine yet. We're still waiting for the Puerto Rico deal. It is not going as quickly as planned. So I bought at the green line, though. And guess what? We got a 3-point move. Barely. But also news that this Puerto Rico deal is a little bit stalled. So I got that much profit that quick from $1.50 to, what is $1.50 to here? 88% profit. In a very short period of time, I sold it all. I'm out of GNSS for now, but the chart still looks like this. You see some resistance there, right? You see the green line back here. We got a little bit of wait time going on, and wait time is not where you want to be during a yellow alert. If you guys don't know what I'm talking about, go read the instruction manual. So I'm out of Genesis for now. Steve Hoffman, ask me that question next week. What did I think of the VTSI earnings? Look, VTSI, there's the chart. That's all you need to know, right? They're working through a rough patch. This is a gold mine stock working through a rough patch, just like QIPT. They're going to come out of it, I fully believe. Plus, they have a whole new revenue line ramping up in the recoil kits that is going to go into the military, the IVAS program. IVAS, look it up with Microsoft. Okay, it's a massive program, and you want to look it up and understand this. Integrated Visual Augmentation System. Look it up. This VTSI is selling recoil kits into this program, and it's massive. Okay, and it hasn't even yet begun. They got a $6 million deal for prototypes alone, and that's a lot of money. They didn't even do. They basically did $6 million of revenue this quarter. They got a $6 million in one deal for prototypes. When it becomes the non-prototype order, it's going to be tens of millions. Okay, tens of millions for a company that just did $6 million. This stock, I believe, is going to go much higher in the future, but it's on a downward trajectory, okay? And what's in motion tends to stay in motion. So would I be surprised if this gets down to the green line? I would not. But would I want to be buying some of the stock at these levels to dip my toe in the water and then buy more if it pulls back, because it might not? Yes. Because when you get this close to the green line on a pullback from here, by the way, the 3-point rule, right? You get more, you 3 points up, you sell a little. 3 points more, you get more aggressive, like massively more aggressive, and then you get here, you get ultimately more aggressive. So on the way down, 3-point rule, you buy a little bit. 3-point more, you get more aggressive, and then you get ultimately aggressive at the bottom. So you don't go crazy on a 3-point from here. You dip your toe in the water a little bit, then you dip it a bit more here, and then you make the big splash here. That's how you handle that. All right. Do I think their sales are ramping up? Yes. By the way, the color in the background, the sun's gone down here. It's dark in Spain. It's 9:20 p.m. Okay, let's get through this. Wellmont, I'm not answering that question. It's personal. You don't need to know that. All you need is my information about these stocks. Doug, I answered your question. Palantir, I'll put the chart up there for you, but I don't cover Palantir. I do think this is a great company, by the way. I don't generally cover massive stocks anymore. Big stocks, I used to. That's what I used to do. That's what Jim Cramer wanted from me, was Oracle, SAP, i2, companies like that. And now I know. I gave you NVIDIA last year because of my knowledge of how all this stuff works. Okay, but I focused on the small companies because that's where we can make the really big bucks. Yes, you get an NVIDIA once in a while that goes 10x. Beautiful, but you get a lot more 10-baggers amongst microcaps. It's been proven, empirically proven, like 88% of 10-baggers are microcaps first. Picks. MJ96 says picks and portfolio. That's what I say to that. Greedy. No hard feelings, brother. Any more questions? Can we see a chart on Gatekeeper? Yes, you can. There it is. Okay. I'm going to wait 1 more minute for last questions because I'm going to put my notes away and then I'm calling it a day. Way early today. Okay. I think I deserve it. Anything bullish about the SMSI news article that came out regarding the Android software exploit? No. Why would... Like, SMSI had software that created a hole in the Android software system that can be exploited for people to mess up your Android phone. That's not good news. I've been telling you guys for a long time that I give up on SMSI. That the shares that I had left, it's not, they're worthless, right? They're worthless. And this company is I've been saying this since around here, okay? A split adjusted $5 that this company is at risk of bankruptcy. And now it's really showing up because look at this. What a disaster. In 8 days, the stock's down 67%. You guys, you can lose, look, from 82 cents, you can lose another 62%. And if it goes down 62%, it can go down another 62%. You can keep losing 62% from any level that you buy a stock. Do not buy this stock until it's gold mine. I don't know how many times I gave you the lesson over a year ago. I said, I never know which ones I'm going to be wrong on, so don't play favorites. Okay? I loved this stock. It was my favorite stock, but I didn't play favorites in my portfolio. I followed the rules. And I said, I follow the rules. And wouldn't it be funny if my favorite stock, which I will not break the rules on, ends up being one of the ones that gets demolished and fails? Because I do get a failure once in a while. When you roll the dice, sometimes you roll a 1. And I said, it won't surprise me a bit if this is the stock that I roll a 1 on. And guess what? That's what ended up happening. Okay? So yes, you get losers, which is why I don't pick and choose, buy them all. So that you get a crescendo and an evolve and an intermap and all these stocks that we're making tons of money on, a TSSI. Right? You get all these winners, and so when the loser hits, BFD, big effing deal. It's not a big deal. But for a lot of people it is, because you guys made it your favorite and put 40, 60, 80, 100% of your money in, and guess what? You got blown up. Why do you have to do that when I give you so many picks to make money on? Get rich at a moderate pace. There's no rush. I started investing when I was about 23 years old or something like that, and it only took me 15 years to retire. Taking it steady, following the rules. I didn't put it all on one stock. I did not do that, because that's how you get yourself out of the game. Depressed, beaten down, etc. Hoping that it's going to come back. There's no hope in the stock market. There's only risk reward, and you want to spread your money across all the good risk reward ideas like TSSI, like all the others I give you every week here on Fridays. Money Mark, Stock Talk Live. That's it for this week. Have a great weekend. I'm going to look at, we got a couple other questions here. Yes, I did discuss OSS sale. Does it make a difference in your taxable versus non-taxable account? No. If it's not in the rule book, it doesn't have anything to do with the rules. Have I ever covered a vaccine company? No. I don't do biotech. It's not I only do what I'm an expert at. If I cannot find experts, or if I'm not an expert myself, I don't deal with it. You have to have experts on your side when you evaluate a company, because the management team, the CEO, will tell you things that will make you excited. When I was brand new, when I was new at this game, when I started my first investment conference, every single CEO got me excited. I wanted to buy every single stock that I saw, because every story sounds good until you dig below the covers and find an expert that gives you the real story behind the story. No, this company's a dog. No, what they do is garbage. No, that product doesn't work. Right? And then you're like, wow, all these companies are trash. Yes. I look at 100 companies to buy one. That should tell you something. Do I have a chart for Aspen Aerogels? Yes, but I do not have any risk-reward lines on it. I think this is a great company, by the way. I just don't cover it because I don't have any experts that can validate, but it does seem like a great company. Do you find it difficult managing millions? That is the last question here. No. See, if you follow the rules from the beginning and you get bigger and bigger, you go from $1,000 managing $1,000 and you get excited and scared when you buy stocks. But then it grows, and now you have $10,000 and you get excited and scared when you buy stocks. And then it grows to $100,000. You get excited and scared. You get used to it. As you get bigger and bigger and bigger, you get used to it. So when you get into the millions and tens of millions, you just keep doing what? Following the rules. Have a great weekend, guys. I'll catch you next time.